Future's gonna be okay. Okay, look at the mirror and I see no pain. I die for real till the day, but it's gonna be okay. Time for some paycheck and I'm riding downtown. Switch, time taking it over. Future's gonna be okay. Okay, look at the mirror and I see no pain. I die for real, ask karma gon' be coming back for me. Time for some paycheck and I'm riding downtown. Switch, time taking it over. D-Day's coming, it's a fucking good day. 이 날을 위해서 여지껏 미를 가린 듯해. 어쩌면 널 익숙했던 지난 날은 이젠 over. 다시 태어난 우리 위해 축배를 다시금 들어. 미움이 가득한 세상에 중한 운전도 욱불 필요하네. 연꽃은 진호 강속에서도 찬란하게 꽃 피우기에 아둥바둥 남과 비교 열등 감작이 혐오 이런 것들로 향해 오늘부로 총구를 겨눠. 당신은 무엇인가 항해 따윈 부셔내 마. 과거를 후회 말고 미래를 두려워하지 마 임마. 피할 수 없어 맞고 충분히 아프고 말겨. 괜히 상처를 헤집으면서 흉터를 키우지 말겨. I can't remember, yeah. I can't remember, yeah. I can't remember, yeah. Won't say no more. I can't remember.
Hello. Yes, it was a great song choice. Welcome to K-Talk Live. Hello, you guys from across the country and the world. It is Korean American Day. I'm so glad to celebrate with you on this Saturday. And I had to show this. I'm allowed to show this on YouTube Live, right? Yeah, you guys know what this is. Well, this is the original soju, and I would say the best. And there's only one here, but like I bought like 10. The story I had to share, I just posted on Instagram that to start off the Korean American Day, because I am not in my normal place, visiting this weekend family and also traveling. So I had to buy some of these to hang out with some friends because it's Korean American Day. And I walked right into the alcohol store, and I walked in, and obviously I was like on a mission. I'm like, I'm going to get this. I have to get like 10 of these, the original blue bottle of soju. And the lovely gentleman went, "Can I help you?" I said, "I need the original blue bottle soju." And I just said it like that because I was in a rush. He goes, "Got it." He walked me to the aisle, and this is, and you know what? I don't know why I would get emotional, but he said in Korean, "한국 분이에요?" So are you Korean? And I went, this guy, later on I learned he's Nepalese. And I said, "Nah." So I just switched to Korean, and this man just busted. Oh, so basically I wanted to just be in and out, and I was there for like 20 minutes because, and I was kept saying, "Oh, nah, kaya deo, nah, I gotta go," right? Like you feel bad. And I was like this. He just wanted to talk in Korean. He was just so happy. I was the only one in the store. And then he knew that exactly. He's like, "Yep, you got the right soju." These are dangerous because it's a little light tasting. But anyways, he lived in Korea for 8 years. So I heard his whole story. I said, "Wait, how is your Korean so good?" He's like, I lived there for 8 years. 6 years ago, I came back. And then this is where he went. And I said, "Oh," and I'm thinking, did he struggle? Because he didn't live in Seoul. He lived in Ansan. So it's like, basically in his words, he's like shigoro, so it's like countryside, right? And so when you hear someone say shigoro, it doesn't sound good. It means like, yeah, I lived in the country. It was like, whatever. And I go, "Oh, did you not like it?" He goes, then he went, "No," he's like, "I loved it so much." And then he described his everyday life. He would work. He was there for work. Then he would go to 회식. You guys all know what that is, right? Team dinners, right? And then 노래방, pretty much every night, the karaoke, right? Korean karaoke. And I just went, that sounds fun, because I could tell he was excited. He goes, "It was so much fun. I don't have that community here, DC area." And I went, "Why don't you have that?" He goes, "Well, it's just a bigger community," right? Because he lived in the countryside, so it's much tighter knit. But then when he was saying, "What I miss is that connection," I go, "There's a Korean word." He goes, "Yes, 정." That's my favorite word, guys. So I left going, "This is Korean American Day." He goes, "I know." And I go, "This was the best interaction in an ABC store." Me holding a bunch of soju like this. And then as I was walking out, someone came in. So I felt like that was like also kismet to someone, nobody in that room, and he just wanted to have a conversation with me. So I just had to share that story. Isn't that a great story? He was like desperate to speak Korean, and flawless Korean. Like I understood everything he was saying. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're talking so fast." And then he wanted to take his wife back because he got married here in the US. So I had to share that. Korean American Day, folks, in 1903, the first Korean immigrants came from Korea to, guess where? Don't Google it. This is a little trivia that you're going to have to put in the chat box. Where were the first Korean immigrants? Where did the first Korean immigrants land? Off the ship in 1903 in the US. Go. Nobody can Google. I'm waiting. Da na na na, da na na, da na 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 na. Does anybody know where the first Korean immigrants landed in the US? Okay, I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. If nobody knows, I'm going to say it. Yes, thank you, Indian vegan and vegetarian. Love it. Hawaii. They landed in Hawaii to serve on like pineapple plantations, right? And I just had to share that because I also had to learn that. I didn't know that. No Seattle, no San Francisco. It's Hawaii. 1903. Why do I keep saying 2003? 1903. So I shared that 50 years ago this year, it'll be July, but today's Korean American Day. So I shared a post of me becoming a US citizen. But the story of me becoming a US citizen is not so much becoming a US citizen, but for like 13 years, I was the only one in my family because my parents became naturalized when they arrived. Then I was already born in Korea, so I was a Korean citizen. My sister was born in the US in Philadelphia. I was the only one in my immediate family. Whenever we traveled to Korea, which was pretty much every summer, I had to be in another line. Do you know what that's like when you're like 4 years old and they're like, okay. So, and back then they would leave you alone. They were like, okay, Jeannie, you go to that line. It says non-US citizen, and we're going to go here. And I was like, huh? So growing up, already feeling othered, I was like, oh my God, I'm not even like a citizen like my parents are. And that's why it was so important when I turned 13. I think it was, I don't forget, it was like sometime in the fall. I gotta get the exact date, but it was 37 years. I was 13 years old and I missed school to become a US citizen. But I was thinking about that story as I was sharing about 50 years in July. We came when I was 4.5 months old. Yes, a baby. And the story of that is they actually wanted to come immediately to the US when they got married. But then they found out after their honeymoon, because I'm a honeymoon baby, maybe this is TMI, but they had me, that my mom found out she was pregnant, like, or I don't know, 7 or 8 weeks after the wedding. They had to delay their immigration, to delay the entire process to come to the US. My dad delayed his residency to have me in Korea because I think they were just uneasy bringing, like, having a new baby in the States, in a new country. So they waited to have me, and I was the only grandchild of my mom's side to be born in Korea. So that's kind of special in that sense because everybody else was born in the States but me, even though I'm on the older side of the cousins. So I had to share about that. 50 years come July, big deal. And my parents reminded me, and this soju, just a reminder of a wonderful interaction I had today. So guys, thank you for joining me. I am so excited. I'm super ready. I have to do this. Super ready for Ashley Reddy, a wonderful person, our already turned bestie that we also met in Busan. I'm telling you, a lot of beautiful things happened there last October. And yes, Mandy, scary as a parent would be upset to send my child. Yeah, it was, yeah, they weren't. No. Back then in 1970 or whatever, 9 or 80, they were like, okay, Yujina, my Korean name, stand over there. We'll be over here. And I was like, what? Yeah, it's kind of traumatic for me. But once I became a US citizen, obviously, I think that's why it means a little bit more, because I felt so out of place because nobody was really a Korean citizen that I was around. So I'm diverting. Now I want to get Ashley in here. And she is an entertainment attorney. And we met again at all the parties and we were like having so much fun, but I loved hearing more about her work. And I'm still like fascinated, right? And there's, as an attorney, just like a licensed mental health clinician, we protect clients and there's only so much we can share, but let's see what she can share about the folks that she works with or they're her clients, and she has some fun stuff to say. So let's welcome entertainment attorney Ashley Reddy and talk about what it looks like to be legally Korean. Yay! And I didn't know.
Hi.
Hi. And I had no idea that you actually dressed up as Elle Woods when I saw
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I'm like a young kid in law school, and Halloween comes around, and I'm like, do I do it? You do it. There's like one little window to be Elle Woods for Halloween, and it's, the 3 years you're in law school.
I'm glad you did it. Well, let's start off there. Introducing yourself. Let's start first with your identity, because we did title this Legally Korean.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? Would love to hear from folks. Folks joining, Ashley Reddy's here, entertainment attorney. She's going to talk about what it means to her to be legally Korean.
I mean, it means I get to finally embrace who I am. It's cool to be Asian now, which is what I tell everyone. And
how are you Asian? Tell them.
I'm
What's your
half
identity?
Korean, half Indian. My dad is Indian. My mom's Korean. Fell in love, got married, and out comes me.
Yeah, because you guys, when we were at, everyone's saying hi to you. We were at
Hi.
Lee Byung-hun's screening,
Yeah.
and then she busts out perfect Korean to Lee Byung-hun, and I'm like, and I remember turning at you going, what? Like, and then and not like everybody, a lot of people can speak Korean these days, but I was just like, whoa. And then she goes, yeah, I'm half Korean. I'm like, what? We have stuff to talk about. So yeah, and then I got to know her mom,
very
who's
Korean
super
mother.
awesome. Yeah, very Korean mother, but she's super cool.
Yeah,
now
she's cool now. She gets to be my friend more than my mom, which is so much more fun.
What was that like then? Korean mom, Indian father.
It
Was it very traditional?
It means the standards were high, because they both come. They're it's not just the Asian thing. They're both academically successful. So I have very well educated parents. So education was a very, very big point growing up. And if unless my parents felt like I tried my hardest and the grades still didn't show, they expected good grades out of me because they knew I was capable. They thought I was very bright and were like, if you're putting 100% of effort into it, you should get A's.
Wow. That sounds like that. Yeah. Our upbringing. All right. Okay.
So it's, it's it was like the typical second generation of Asian immigrants upbringing. And I also lived in such a community that fostered that. Thousand Oaks has a strong Asian population, mostly because there's a big biotech headquartered there. And, we're all kids of that biotech. All of our parents work there, and our schools are just naturally competitive because it's me and 50 other kids all getting the same grades and all going to the same top 20 colleges. And so it's my parents felt very comfortable being themselves in that environment. And it's not just it was me who's getting pressured or having the expectations to exceed in school. It's me and half my peers. So there was just a collective of us who we're all competing, but also trying to do our parents proud and set ourselves up for successful adult lives.
Well, when we had dinner though, she seemed so proud of you.
She is proud of me. I made it. We did it. First kid syndrome.
Wait, what do you mean by you made it? Because you became an attorney?
I became an attorney. I am doing something I love. I think I found the sweet spot because growing up, I mean, both of my parents struggled in their careers and they worked extremely hard and paid off a lot of school debt, a lot of things they didn't want me or my brother to face. So the deal was, we provide you with the resources that you need, study, do well in school, and you get yourself in a career that you like that's stable.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And like the unofficial no, my parents never told me this point blank, but there was an understanding that, go for the lawyer job, the doctor career, finance, engineering, and my brother and I both chose. But the sweet spot is I always had a sweet spot for film and for entertainment, mostly film. I love it. I really do. So I actually made a pivot. I am a trained patent attorney and I worked in biotech for a little bit. And then, I got bored. And my mom was like, well, you're an attorney. Well, this is after law school. Oh, okay. Says, well, you're an attorney. You love film. Why don't you look into it? So I was like, really? Are you sure? which was cool because she's the one who actually pushed me into entertainment.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can tell your
Like,
passion when you're talking about your work.
yeah, and you know, and now she knows, now she just sees how happy I am. But it's like I made her proud. She doesn't have to worry. I'm not a starving artist like the half of them.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
on the business side, but I'm still in it, and I'm happy, and I'm
Mm.
stable. Like I'm in a position where I can take care of myself, and she doesn't have to worry about me, which is her whole
Yeah.
goal. So that's where she's proud. And she's a Korean mom who hangs out with her Korean mom friends, and I'm a bragging point. So.
Yeah, we all know, you guys know from the K-dramas, the bragging or just talking about your kids, I love this comment from Indian vegan and vegetarian. I'm going to read it. Korean mom and Indian father, deadly combination for a kid. I was kind of thinking that too. I'm an Indian and I sure know the pressure kids face to excel academically. Yeah, and I had 2 Korean parents, so I get it. But yeah, I guess I could see that being, but we survived,
We
right? And
survived.
and like I said, I
And
did get to know your mom and she's super proud. Yeah.
yeah, no, she's very proud, and now she's like one of my best friends. I hang
Yeah.
out with her more than I do my actual
I
friends, and
know.
I would rather.
Yeah. It's so cool.
She's my favorite drinking buddy.
She
Jeannie
can drink.
knows.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes. No, it's true.
But yeah, so
You've
I
been
love
how
that.
many
Thank
of
you for
those at dinner?
you what? Oh yeah, these are really good. I know I promise it's not a paid partnership or anything. I'm just showing a really good
No,
soju.
we're just fans.
And Berta here says she's from my September tour. Great job, Ashley. So
Oh,
that's great.
thank
Thank you
you.
for sharing that. So then let's just talk a little bit about, so how do you explain, do you say to people you're half Korean, half Indian, or do you say Korean, Indian American? I guess I'm curious.
I just tell people I'm half Korean, half Indian. The American part is, I always thought, is assumed. And just personally for me, growing up, I worked so hard to be American that now that it's cool to be yourself, I want to emphasize what my heritage background. So when when people ask what are you or what's your ethnicity, American's not the answer they're looking for. Right?
Yeah,
So
of course.
I just tell them I'm half Indian, half Korean, and then they, they go with that's so cool. That's such an interesting mix. I've never heard of that one before. And I'm like, neither have I.
Oh, well, that's great. Yeah. I mean, I think you're right, embracing our cultural identity now. And that's important to just say. It's a very different experience growing up. But that said, let's talk a little bit before we get to everybody's questions. I want to know if you can share who are some of the cool clients you have? You are now in the industry. Your mom
Yeah.
kind of said, let's go, go into entertainment, and now you're an entertainment attorney. So can you share some of
Yes.
your cool clients?
Yeah, we do. So I work for a talent side law firm. So we work mostly with individual talent, and the biggest that we have that I get the pleasure of being a part, whose team I get to be a pleasure to be on, is our director Byung. He's phenomenal, obviously the maestro himself, and
Parasite director, guys, if you didn't know.
Yes, if anybody watched Parasite, Okta,
yeah,
Snowpiercer, if you're true fans,
I did see it.
He's the best.
Mm-hmm.
He has 4 Oscar wins to prove it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Has a new project coming out sometime, hopefully this year, early next year. We're really excited about him. He's our biggest Korean client, which I love. Cool. We also have strong Asian talent, whether it's Korean or Chinese or Malaysian Chinese. We have Kiwi Kwan and Michelle Yeoh. Really, really cool talent. Had an incredible year last year, obviously. And it's cool to be, on their teams and seeing what new projects they come on, and to see the films that are coming soon.
That's super cool. Yeah.
It's fun. It makes watching TV entertaining. Like I watched The Brother Son for Michelle, and
I didn't watch that yet.
Which is hard for me to do. I can't sit for 8 straight hours on a TV show unless it's that good. And, you know, I did it for Beef and I did it for The Brother's Son. And I'm like, you know, this is fun because
it's fun because you're going to be like, I got to do this for work.
Yeah, I have to watch this show for work. Poor me.
Yeah, I say that too, even though it's a little less pressing than what you do. Berta says to you, "It's good to be yourself!" Exclamation point by Ashley. Possible book. She liked what you said about it. So it's cool to be yourself.
Maybe one day, hopefully.
Yeah, it's cool to be yourself. Then you could talk about your cool clients. But for those of you just joining, yeah, Pong Chun-ho is well, he's been in the news lately, right? Because of what's going on in Korea. But that's super cool.
I love how he's being outspoken about that. For a man of his stature and his influence. So
totally. I think
people will actually listen, which is always the goal. And unfortunately it still requires somebody at the very top to speak out to garner any attention.
Yeah, and I saw quite a bit of people at that press conference that I recognized. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so great to see.
Well,
yes, tragic
stuff shows up, the crowd will follow.
That's right. That's right. And of course, a lot of people, you guys DM'd me saying it's tragic, but yes, it's tragic, but this is the hope that we, you know, you gotta hope for something, you know,
right. Something positive needs to come out of it.
So that's cool. All right. So folks joining, she just shared a little bit about her clients. I didn't want to push you too much because, you know, you got to protect those clients, but she shared what she could. Now, I guess let's start with the questions from the audience. And you got some great questions. You guys, we couldn't put in all of them, so we like to choose around 10. So let's start with the first one. And I believe it's pretty fun. The first one is easy. Oh yeah. What are your favorite K-dramas? This is a big hint with the graphic.
Oh yeah. My favorite is Heirs. It's old 2013 high school flick. I love it. I'm not even ashamed to say that I love it. It's just one of those dramas that is so 2013 when I go back and watch it with the fashion and the hairstyles, but it's like what I would deem like the freaks and geeks of Korean TV, because that cast is insane.
Stellar.
And you don't realize how many now leading actors and actresses were just in that ensemble.
Yeah.
And
you guys, she's talking about Inheritors.
What
are your favorite K-dramas? Put it in the chat box. But she said Heirs. I love that one.
It's one that I just go back to watching every time I like scroll through Netflix and I just see it because my algorithm knows. And I'm like, do I just start this back up for the 10th time?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, let's wait. Like, let's watch another show. But then like a month later, I'm like, okay, let's start it again. And it's my favorite.
It has that iconic song.
Like iconic songs. Is so good, and it's not on Spotify, and it's not like I can't.
It's only on YouTube, right?
It's on YouTube. Yeah. Or you just rewatch the show.
Right. Heirs, Inheritors.
And my other one is Mr. Sunshine. It's a beautiful story. It'll get me crying so easily.
Yeah. You guys, what do you guys think of Mr. Sunshine and Inheritors? Put in the chat box.
I know you love that
Mr. Sunshine. It's my top 5.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful story. I'm a sucker for a period piece, especially from that era, the Japanese imperialization era. I mean, they just have the most beautiful stories of bravery and like true love for a country. And it's like, it's not Heirs at all. It's not light. It's not fun. It's not flirty. You know, it's very deep and hard hitting. And, you know, the biggest tearjerker, get yourself a box of tissues, not just one.
Yes.
5.
I love it. Yeah.
Kim Tae-hee's like so beautiful in it.
Yes.
Lee Byung is so beautiful in it. Yoo Young-suk is amazing.
Oh, I love him in that, right?
So different.
We got to see, we didn't see Kim Tae-hee in person, but the other two we did.
Yes.
Yeah. So people say Mr. Sunshine was fantastic, maybe cry buckets, but still so good.
Buckets.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I haven't cried more.
That OST was beautiful too. Mr. Sunshine's OST.
Oh, so beautiful. It's like, but I have to like brace myself every time I rewatch that show because I'm like, Ashley, you're gonna cry and you're gonna have puffy eyes the next morning. okay, what do you have going on the next morning?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, thank you for sharing that. Let's go to the next question. We just answered what are your favorite K-dramas. What's your favorite legal K-drama?
Oh, that's a fun one. Um, is this even a legal K-drama? I mean, it has legal elements to it. Vincenzo at the moment.
Because we love
It's
somebody.
they
Yes,
sue him.
he was a mafia. What is it? Conciliary?
Yeah, he's a
Legal?
conciliary, so he's the lawyer of the mafia group.
Yes, that is.
And
Yeah, they're all lawyers.
they're all
Chun
lawyers.
Yun Bin was a lawyer.
And they're taking down, the real bad guy, but through a lawsuit. So
Yeah.
I call it a legal K-drama.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's witty. It's like what I would consider like a funnier Godfather.
I love it. What's your favorite legal K-drama? So Vincenzo, I didn't see that coming. I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. That is a legal K-drama.
Yeah.
I love it. And we both
Not in the
love
traditional
it.
sense, but it's like a lot of it takes place in a courthouse. So
That's true. It does.
it's fun.
Yay, cool. All right, next question. And who doesn't love Vincenzo? How do you balance two ethnicities, Indian and Korean?
It's hard. It's kind of like it's interesting because I go back to the root. So a lot of people get confused. They're like, which one do you identify with? Are you more Korean? Are you more Indian? And I feel bad thinking that I'm one more than the other, but I also think about how I was raised, and I call myself like a 1.5 generation immigrant child. My mom came from Korea. She's very Korean. English is very much her second language. So I feel more tied to the Korean heritage because of how I grew up being raised by her. My dad, on the other hand, he himself is a first generation Indian American. My grandfather immigrated, and he was born and raised in the United States. So it's like my connection to the Indian side of the heritage is filtered through him. So when we hang out with family, like there are some Indian traditions that I'm familiar with, but unfortunately I don't speak Hindi. I don't even know if he speaks Hindi. A lot of my families either speak the dialogue, and that's on my grandparents' level, or it's just English. So, and it's like, so it's weird. Like, I love Indian food. I like the culture aspect, but in terms of language, I'm not as connected. My mom spoke Korean to me and my brother our entire childhood, and she's the only one outside of Korea. So we used to go almost every summer as well. And my mom made sure that we can at least speak enough to communicate with our relatives. So in a way, it's like Korean way stronger right now, but I feel close to both. And as an adult, like I want to learn either way. So whatever I don't know yet about the Indian traditions and the Indian and the culture, we're working on it because it's part of me as well. So I want to complete me.
Oh yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was a great answer. But yeah, it's we're still learning. There's lots of things we didn't grow up in Korean society, so there's a lot of things.
Such rich cultures, you can just
Yeah,
never know fully
definitely.
about either one.
Especially
So
rich with tradition
so
that
much
you're like,
tradition.
yeah. All right, let's go to the next question. I love it. Two frequent legal situations in entertainment that need your services.
I wouldn't call them situation. I would call them types of people because of the type of work that I do. So the two main groups of people, and they're different legal situations, are filmmakers and actors. So, for example, with director Byung, he's a filmmaker, and all of his films are for the most part his, and he's in it from start to finish. Has a hand in the script if he's not writing the whole thing himself, and then directs and also produces. So with those, we start on those projects from the very, very beginning, working on all of his deals to write, to direct, to produce. If it's not a studio movie, to help with the financing or to figure out who he's producing with, and just getting all the deals in place to create this project. And this is well before we talk about who's even being casted.
Mm.
And then for guys like Michelle and Key, who are, you know, on-screen actors, we're not doing any of that. The movie already has a stabilization and has all of the people in development involved, and we work on their acting deal and their component and their stake in a project. So they are two different situations, and they come in two different phases of a project timeline, like a project's lifeline, so to speak. And it's cool, and they happen all the time because they are the two main type groups of talent that we represent.
That's super cool. Thank you for sharing that. I was about to say, and I guess it helps that you know their work, because you kind of know what they're, like just what makes them tick and stuff like that. So I think that's a big part of what you enjoy doing. All right, let's go to the next one. What is the most difficult case you've had to deal with? Can you share that?
Yeah. In most difficult case I've had to deal with, probably they come around independent films when money is involved. It gets hard. We love independent films and indies, but securing financing, I will say, is the most difficult case.
Yeah.
We deal with. You can't have a movie without financing, but you can't get financing unless you have a movie. So it's like chicken and egg, which comes first, and it requires a lot of leaps of faith of you know, asking a financier for however many millions of dollars.
Like, you have to do that as an attorney?
We work with their attorneys. And then so there's two conversations being had at the same time. We work with the financiers or the producers if it's a production house that happens to have funding. And then on a different level, the producers themselves have this exact same conversation of, hi, we want to be involved in your movie. What is the budget looking like? And then the other person goes, we don't know what the budget looks like, but let's hope. But we are aiming for $10 million. We're aiming for $20 million. And then that conversation is hard because who just has $20 million to give? You know?
Yeah. Wow.
And there's a lot of, and then you need security involved, and there's a lot of, and there's financing agreements that are in place. And then sometimes what will happen, and this has happened once, that made my life a living hell. A script got a major rewrite, and somehow the rewrite added $10 million more to the budget.
Oh, God.
After a financier already secured 20.
Yeah.
And the timing of it was, you know, they had locations already done. The script was supposed to be done. Directors attached. They started casting their leads. They're ready to go shoot the movie, go into production in a month. And this rewrite happens, you know, a month before production starts, and somehow it adds $10 million to
because it delayed the whole project.
No, they just no, the scenes they added required $10 million more. It was an
oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, but I hear about that. All the
it was just something that added sequences that required $10 million more worth of equipment and weapons and whatever. I didn't read the script.
Wow.
And that's how it was explained to me. I was like, where's the $10 million for? And they're like, for whatever was rewritten and added to the script. And I'm like, oh, okay. So are we asking them for $10 million more? And they're like, that's the plan.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. That's fascinating.
They didn't love that we had to do that, but is the rewrite worth it? I don't know. The movie hasn't come out yet. That project, I think, is done shooting, is in post. We will see. I guess we will see if that rewrite was worth it.
Can you share who's in it or no?
I hope so. Because it was a tough ask.
Oh, no, but I meant, can you share who's in the movie? Like who's acting it, or can you not share?
I don't know if it's announced yet.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, because we
Sorry
will.
about that.
No,
When it gets
I understand.
announced.
You got to protect the clients. So, hello, Minnesota.
When it gets announced, you will
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I
Then you
haven't
can just
figured
say,
out.
yeah, this is the movie that we had
This
to ask
was it.
$10 more million.
But it's
Okay,
an
let's move on to the
action.
next question.
It
Yeah,
is
we
an
have some
action
more.
film, so it's supposed to
Yeah.
be, high explosive, high energy, high octane, whatever.
Ah, an action film. All right, who's your K-drama bias?
It changed recently.
Uh-huh.
So because I loved Airs, my K-drama bias was Lee Minho for the longest time.
Okay.
But I haven't seen him since The King came out.
Oh, he was a Pachinko.
So, oh, that's right. He was in Pachinko.
But he didn't.
But but I'm like lately, it's been Park Seo-joon. I love him.
Who loves
Like,
Park
that's it.
Seo-joon? Put in the chat box. Yeah,
If you love Park
obviously,
Seo-joon, you understand. The man.
I like
waiting.
him, but yeah,
I
people
love
him.
I love him. I think he's so charismatic.
No, we didn't get to meet him in Busan.
And witty. I know he was not in Busan. Hopefully one day. One day
he didn't have a movie to promote, but he's
didn't.
like, what did you like him the best in?
Probably What's Wrong with Secretary Kim.
Yeah,
that one, Fighting My Way. He's funny.
He's cute and
He's
I would say my favorite is actually Fight for My Way, because we see him in the typical Chubble role for all the other ones, but I love him kind of like down and out role and just wearing a t-shirt the whole time, and he's kind of funny and cute, and
he's so cute.
I like him too, and he looks
and
good
I liked him. I watched Ginny's Kitchen most recently.
Yeah,
and
that's cute too.
And he's so cute.
He's a hard worker. He's a hard worker. Did you see Kyung Sung Creature?
I'm watching it. I watched episode 1.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I Kyung Sung Creature is not my type, but it's actually really entertaining. It's interesting. Yeah. And he looks good in that one too. Yeah.
No, he does look really good. I
like
this role for him.
So transparent and true to his life. Yeah. So so there's a lot of Park Seo-joon fans. Okay. So that's your K-drama bias. Do you have? Is that all right? Yeah. Nobody can blame me for that. That's awesome. All right. Let's go to the next one. What legal K-drama is the most accurate, in your opinion?
Law School, the one with Kim Bum, and I don't remember her name. She was in Reply 1988.
Yeah, she played Poda. I forget her name too. I actually didn't see Law School, even though I know the PD who did it. But I just missed it. There's so many other things to watch. But yeah, it was pretty accurate.
It was very accurate. It's fun because they start off with students in law school, and I don't know how the law schools in Korea are, but it was very similar to my experience in law school. So I was like, oh, this hits some memories. And then the case, and then the plot of the story is one of the professors, I think he was the dean, gets murdered, and then it becomes a murder mystery. And then the students, and then their criminal law professor is accused of the murder of his colleague, and the students help clear his name. So these are like first-year law students who are now getting put in the field and to apply all the things they learned. So it's a less funnier version of Legally Blonde, because it starts off with law school and then those students, solving a murder, a murder case. But you can tell the writers researched the law, and it's very well written, and I thought it was accurate.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, okay, so she was just talking about law school being the most accurate in her opinion. Yeah, like I said, it's all I remember came out. I was like, okay, there's something else coming out. Let me choose this one, and then years go past.
I know it gets hard. I haven't been able to watch Extraordinary Attorney Woo.
What?
I know.
Did we not? I guess I didn't know that.
When you miss the timing of a show, and you're like, okay,
law school came out, and
then 5 more things come out.
Yeah, of course. Oh no, trust me. I shouldn't.
So
blame
it's
you for
like
that.
I'm sure my
Attorney Woo is a big one, but
yeah, I know.
So it's like I'm sure
my opinion will change once I watch the show, but I haven't yet, so I can't talk about it. I don't have an opinion about it yet.
I wasn't going to even ask about Attorney Woo, but yes, you have time to watch it. And someone said he was my first K-drama binge actor. Okay, Park Seo-joon. They're still
Oh.
on Park Seo-joon. So that's awesome.
Because he's a cutie.
He's a cutie. Okay, what's the next question? I think we have a couple more. Who do you enjoy watching K-dramas with?
My mom.
That's so cool.
It's how
And I think I knew that.
it's how I learned to watch them. I've been watching K-dramas forever. And it
Mhm.
starts with, you know, a very, very small me moseying her way to the living room to figure out what mom's watching. And she's watching whatever is the show of that time.
Yeah. What, like, do you remember some of the old shows that she watched? Because I probably, your
Not
mom's
quite
older
me,
than
but
me.
if the OST came out, I would
Yeah.
know it.
Oh, yeah. I think I talked to your mom about some of the ones that I loved watching, and she's like, oh, yeah. Like, your mom watches all of them. Well,
She
that's
watches
cool. So
all
you
of
still
them.
watch with them, with your mom, like, as in you're watching something and you're talking about it?
If I'm home for the weekend, like we'll watch one together, and when we go on trips, we'll watch them together, and then it's great because she has a lot more time than I do, so she keeps up with all of them. There's not one that she's missed.
I
So
know.
she's kind of like my filter also. If she and I have similar tastes. So if
Mhm.
there's one that she already watched that she goes, then I'm like, okay, then I don't need to watch it. She goes, you don't need to waste 20 hours on this one. I was like, oh, okay.
That's cool. Well, I'm so glad you can watch with your mom. Yeah.
But I watch with my mom all the time.
That's awesome. Okay, next question. Have K-dramas helped you with your work in the legal field?
Yes, it has. So the niche that I'm building right now, because every attorney in this field picks a niche that they build their career off of, and my niche is to finally represent people who look like me, to represent Asian talent, and to be that bridge. The Hallyu K drama, K content wave is a huge wave, and is so it's such a gold mine for such interesting talent to work in Korea and to work in America. I credit guys like Rain and Lee Byung to do it first 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. And then Parasite made that establishment here. And now and then Squid Games, and now you'll see Korean actors in American projects. So a lot of times I watch K-dramas now for talent scouting.
Who are you scouting? No kidding.
Who edit
Scout Park Seo-joon? Though Park Seo-joon was a Marvel.
I actually am.
You guys, she's trying to scout Park Seo-joon. It might be here for a future client.
I am trying to scout him. I did actually sign a client recently, and I think what worked for me is how much I knew about his career. I signed, for all the Squid Game fans, Anupam Tripathi is a client of mine. He played Ali, our heartbreaking
he's
guy.
He's actually really sweet in real life too,
and he's the sweetest man. And and mutual friends were saying how we should work together because of who I am. I'm half Indian, half Korean. He is an Indian actor who built his career in Korea. So it's like, people go, you were born to represent this guy.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah, he's and I think I heard about his career too, working decade in Korea.
Decades. But that's what gave me an advantage, is I grew up watching Korean dramas. So here most people in America know him from Squid Games, and only know him from Squid Games, and think he's a hot new actor. And I'm like, he's a very talented actor. He's not new.
Yeah.
And then when I met him, I told him how I've loved him since Descendants of the Sun, when he gives Song Ye-kyo's character the iconic boots.
Yep.
And then I saw him in Space Sweepers, and he was he plays an asshole too.
Oh, because I love Space Sweepers.
Yeah,
I saw it twice.
Yeah, watch it again. He plays the bad guy, Richard Armitage.
Okay, yeah, I remember there's a bad guy that they all encounter.
His assistant. So he plays a
Okay.
bad guy, which is so different than all the cameos that he's
But you know,
normally
he also
has.
plays a obnoxious but cute and funny in King the Land.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. And like my husband and I are watching, we're like, wait a second, is that him? We're like, yes, it is him.
Yes, it is.
You guys, if you watch King the Land, he also plays this obnoxious Pakistan. I think he's
He's
I'm
like he's like this prince from Abu Dhabi.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, is it Abu Dhabi?
Or
Okay, I thought it was
something like
Pakistan.
that.
Okay. But he's
But
funny.
I mean, I think that's what helped us connect as people. Is because K-dramas allowed me to follow his career, because that's where he's built his career before he had this beautiful role on Squid Games.
And it was a beautiful role.
He loved that I knew his work more than just Squid Games. And I was like, and I remember he and his manager go, when I mentioned Descendants of the Sun, he goes, "Oh, that's deep cut." And I'm like, I'm not messing around. Like,
that's awesome. She just signed Anupam. What's his last name? Anupam.
So K-dramas are like, I watch it for work for sure.
Oh, someone says before I got caught to Korean dramas, I watched Hindi serials for over a decade.
Mandy, I need to.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Mandy. Yeah. So, okay. So let's go on to the next question. I think there's one left.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The final question. How have K-dramas transformed your life?
I don't know. I don't know if it transformed my life. I don't know what I would be without them. I grew up on them. So they've just made me who I am. We love the hopeless romantic. It's like my standards and skews of love are so messed up because of all the K-dramas we watch.
Yeah.
I have such a strong tie to the Korean half of myself. It helps me maintain my Korean for sure. I watch it, so I don't lose it. And it's just kept me grounded, at least on the Korean side of my heritage, and now inspired the niche that I want to build in my career. So
I love that. So yeah, you grew up with it.
I don't know who I would be or how I would have turned out without it. It's so deeply ingrained into the core of who I am.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, you have that unique experience that you grew up watching them, as did I. Mine's very different than yours, where like nobody watched it in my family. I know people are like, what? But
really?
I grew up and I grew up
you didn't watch them with your mom, or you just went to the the video rental store and just got.
Well, 1992, I was in college. Remember, you're much younger than me. So I was in college. I know. I was like, sorry to rub that in, but I was in college when I started watching them in 1992. So I was 18. So by then I'm able to get it on my own. But no, my parents were all like, just like your parents, highly educated, but they were just so detached in that sense. They're like, we're American, so we're going to just watch American television.
Oh, my mom is, I am Korean when she cooks.
Right. And so that's why in some sense I look at my parents. Yeah. They still are baffled, but they did love Reply 1988. That's the only one they watch. But to this day, my parents support my work, but are still like, so K-dramas and mental health, we don't understand. Yeah. So like I said, but like, I don't fight them. They support me. They just don't get it. But it's okay. And that's a whole nother, I think I tell people that's part of my story. But so your answer was beautiful. Just it's not like they transformed. They were just enmeshed in your life, part of your life. And they're
part of my identity at this point.
Yeah. And now you can say you have to watch them for work.
And I have to watch them for work, which is why my mom being a filter for me is very helpful.
That's nice. And I can always filter them for you. Well, then again, I don't watch as much as your mom. Remember, I'm like more picky. I'm like, I only can watch like 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah, but I think between you and your husband, like you get pulled into shows that you don't initially want to watch.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Like
so I think the more the filters are, the better. It's so hard because I have to keep up with 2 markets worth of content. And a Korean drama a new one gets pumped out on a weekly basis. And then
daily sometimes, right?
Daily.
Sometimes I'm like, what's out now? And then Gyeongseong Creature you should watch because Park Seo-joon, I think he does a really good job acting in that
I'm
one.
watching it specifically for
Okay.
him.
No, he's really good in that one. So I'm like, oh, he's doing a really good job.
And I watched the first episode, and I know it is very well written and well done.
Yeah.
And anything Kim Eun-suk, I love her. So all my favorite K-dramas are just her work.
Yeah. I mean, the side characters or the parent characters or all of them are very critical to the K-drama, you know?
Oh yeah.
So
there's
you guys,
no
okay, so Ashley, oh my God, it's 50 minutes. So this was awesome. I loved hearing, I learned a little bit about you too, the things I didn't know. And I'm so excited about your new client that you signed. She signed, of course, it's just easy to say that the Indian actor from Squid Game, just because we all know him.
From Squid Game.
The Ali on Squid Game, but also Descendants of the Sun. I did not know he's in Space Sweeper. Now I'm going to check. He's in King the Land, and he's doing great. And it's great to see him get the recognition. Now you're representing him, so he's in good hands.
You'll see him on the screen in the Hollywood films too. Hopefully sometime soon. We're excited for him.
So excited. Ashley, thank you for celebrating Korean American Day with me. That's it. Tripathi, his last name. I was like, what's his last name? And I'm so glad to be celebrating Korean American Day with you, with your Korean, Indian, American identity. And thank you for joining me. You guys, thank Ashley for being here. And I will definitely talk to you offline, of course.
Yes.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Ashley.
Nice meeting everybody.
That was awesome. Wow, I did not know about her new client, so that's awesome. You guys, thank you for joining me. Celebrating Korean American Day. The only last thing I have, and Ashley touched on it, and we both have been talking about it, but the hopeful news that I always love to share with news, but the hopeful news that's going on that I wanted to just end with was the fact that Bong Joon-ho, if you missed it, that is one of her clients, and he is leading, I would say, the charge with other prominent actors, singer-songwriters, producers, whatever, directors, to create some change in Korea after what happened in the wake of Lee Sung-yoon's death. Just looking at the process and the protocols, and he's calling for accountability. And I think that's huge. And we have not ever seen that in Korean society, really, that brazen and that bold. And that's Bong Joon-ho, and he's kind of up there. And it's great that he's using his, I would say, his celebrity status in that way and his influence. So I just wanted to end on that note because I think that's super, super hopeful in the wake of a tragedy. Berta, Ashley says, working, doing what you love and enjoying is a blessing, Ashley. Congrats and tons of success. Thanks for sharing such wonderful life and work experiences. Yeah, and it's I can totally see how much you have so much energy for your work. So it's so awesome. And I love having met you. And it's just the beginning of our friendship. You guys, thank you again. Happy Korean American Day. I know I keep showing this, but this is how we'll celebrate in my family. This is hard to come by. It's not everywhere. Obviously, in the bigger metropolitan areas where there are a lot of Korean Americans or Asian Americans, but I will be celebrating and I'll be here with family. And I'm just happy to be celebrating with you guys, my wonderful community. Until I see you next, please take care of yourself. Think about your one word. Oh my God, I forgot to ask Ashley her one word. We're going to have to talk about it. And we'll keep digging into your one word and live by that and make all your decisions by that. Is there a better way to send me a DM? Well, thank you for that. I'll take a look because I do read all my DMs and sometimes it's a lot, but I will definitely take a look, Mandy. You guys, happy Korean American Day. I'll see you guys soon.